Let's take a look at another type of figural analogy. So in these figural analogies, the figures are going to have additions or removals of figural pieces. And that simply means that we're either going to add pieces or we're going to take away pieces. So take a look at figure 1, which is here, and at figure 2. Think about what changes for figure 1 to become figure 2. Is a piece added or is a piece subtracted, removed? So from figure 1 to figure 2, this middle circle is removed, and we're left with what you see here in figure 2. So here at the bottom, whatever we do at the top, we must also do at the bottom. Take a look at figure 3. And remember, at the top, we subtracted the middle circle. So if we subtract the middle square, what will we be left with? We'll be left with what you see here in number 4. We'll be left with the outside square and the very inside square. All right, let's practice. So take a look at figure 1 and take a look at figure 2. Remember, in these figural analogies, a piece is added or a piece is removed. So think about how figure 1 changes to become figure 2. So here in figure 1, we have 3 rectangles. Here in figure 2, we only have 2 rectangles. So from figure 1 to figure 2, this middle rectangle was removed, and then the top and bottom rectangles were pushed together to make this sandwich looking figure. All right, so do that same thing at the bottom. Looking at figure 3, if we remove the middle shape and then we push these together, these semicircles, and show me with your fingers 1, 2, 3, or 4 which answer you think will correctly complete the analogy. All right, the answer to this one is number 1. Number 1 is correct because if we remove this rectangle and then we push these 2 semicircles together, we're left with what you see in number 1. Let's practice another one. So look at figure 1 and look at figure 2. Think about what changes from figure 1 to figure 2. And then apply that same change to the bottom. So look at figure 3 and look at our answer choices. Show me with your fingers 1, 2, 3, or 4 which figure will correctly complete the analogy. All right, the answer to this one is number 3, and number 3 is correct because if you look at figure 1, we have a complete triangle. If you look at figure 2, the bottom line of the triangle has been removed. If you look at figure 3, we have a complete square, and if we remove the bottom line of the square, we're left with what you see in number 3. Let's do another one. Take a look at figure 1 and take a look at figure 2. Think about what changes for figure 1 to become figure 2. Remember, pieces can be added or subtracted. All right, so here we have 2 triangles. Here we still have those 2 triangles, but then we have a rectangle in between, so a piece has been added. Well, let's apply that same change that happened at the top to the bottom. So if you take these 2 semicircles and you push them apart and you add a piece to the middle, just like we did at the top, then show me with your fingers 1, 2, 3, or 4 which one will correctly complete the analogy. All right, the answer here is number 4. Because if we push these 2 semicircles apart and we put a rectangle between, then what you see in number 4 will be the figure for figure 4. All right, look at this one. Look at figure 1, look at figure 2. Think about what changes, what's added or subtracted from figure 1 for it to become figure 2. And then take a look at figure 3 and apply that same change. Whatever you did at the top, you must also do at the bottom. And then show me with your fingers 1, 2, 3, or 4 which figure will correctly complete the analogy. Okay, the answer to this one is number 1. Number 1 is correct because if you look at the top, figure 1 and figure 2, figure 1 has 2 triangles, figure 2 only has 1 triangle. So that smaller triangle in the middle was subtracted. It was removed. So if we do that same thing at the bottom, here we have 2 hearts. And if we subtract or remove that smaller heart in the middle, we're left with what you see in number 1, which is the correct answer. All right, how about this one? So look at figure 1, look at figure 2. Think about what changes for figure 1 to become figure 2. Remember, a piece is either added or subtracted. Now be very careful with the details. Remember what I've told you. Sometimes they try to trick you with the answer choices. They put answer choices that may seem correct, but you really have to look closely at the details and choose the very best and strongest answer. All right, so think about what changes from figure 1 to figure 2. And then look at figure 3 and apply that same change. And show me with your fingers, 1, 2, 3, or 4, which figure will correctly complete the analogy. All right, the answer here is number 3. And number 3 is correct because if you look at figure 1, we have these 3 rectangles. If you look at figure 2, we still have those 3 rectangles, but this time we have a line and it has an arrow on the left and right. So at the bottom, we'll do the same thing that we did at the top. We'll still have our 3 circles and we'll have a line with an arrow on the left and right. And the answer choice that has that is number 3. All right, so in those figural analogies, a figural piece, which is just a small part of the whole figure, was either added or removed, which is subtracted.